Okay, it starts off pretty easy, asking you to convert these volumes into litres. And the thing that we need to remember here is that a metre converts to a decimetre by multiplying by 10. We all know that. But to convert a volume of metres cubed to decimetres cubed, we would have to multiply by 10 cubed, which is the same as multiplying by 1,000. So to go that way, we're multiplying by 1,000. To go from large volume to small volume, we'd multiply by 1,000. And to go from small volume to large volume, we'd divide by 1,000. That helps us when it comes to decimetre cubed. The other thing we have to remember is that 1 decimetre cubed is the same as 1 litre. And also in 1 litre there are 100 centilitres, or 1,000 millilitres. So we have decimetres cubed as a volume, but we also have litres, and we have centilitres and millilitres in volume. So then we can do these conversions quite easily. 2.5 metres cubed to decimetre cubed, just multiply by 1,000. That would give us 2.5 times 1,000, which would be 2,500 decimeters cubed. Then we have
point answer in liters,
which is 2,500 litres. To get to litres, you have to go to decimeters cubed first. Same with this one. Multiply meters cubed by 1,000 to get decimeters cubed. That would be 1, 2, move the decimal point 3 places, giving you 25 decimeters cubed, which is 25 litres. 2.5 decimeters cubed, well that one's easy because we know that decimeters cubed is the same as litres, so that would give us 2.5 litres. 250 centilitres as litres, divide by 100 for centilitres, giving us 2.5 litres. Then it says we have a cube where the sides are 3 decimeters. And it would like us to calculate the volume and the surface area of this cube. Well, the volume is easy. We know that it's length times breadth times height. And we'll define our terms up here in the top. V is volume, L is length, B is breadth, H is height, and we might as well define now SA as surface area. And I'll leave them there for the whole paper. Then all of our terms are defined. So I can now start using symbols straight away because I've defined my terms. So my length is 3 decimeters, my breadth is 3 decimeters, and my height is 3 decimeters. Notice that I keep my units in here as well. 3 times 3 is 9, 9 threes are 27. Decimeter times decimeter times decimeter is decimeter cubed. It's very useful if you keep your units in here. You're making sure that you've not got units of centimetres mixed up with units of decimeters. You're making sure that you always put your units in at every step of the way. Surface area then. Well, the surface area is going to be the area of one face, which in this case is length times breadth, multiplied by number of faces. So if we were going to put a formula in here, could change that length times breadth to area of one face. Because it's a cube, we know it's the area of one face multiplied by the number of faces. So we'd get 3 squared multiplied by 6 faces to a cube. So 9 6s centimeters squared, 9 centimeters squared times 6, giving us 54 centimeters squared. The surface area of the cube. Okay, that's the first two. Nice little intro to the chapter. Make sure you've understood how to convert units of volume, which are very important. and also how you can find the volume and surface area of a simple cubic shape. Then we've got a cube. We've got a cube made up of 36. We've got a shape, a rectangular shape made up of 36. Was it 1 decimeter? Oh no, I've got the aquarium first. Sorry, missed one. We have an aquarium where we have a length of 160 centimeters. It doesn't actually tell us which is the height and which, so we'll say that the breadth is 50 centimeters and the height is 60. It doesn't really matter which. Well, we'll do it the other way around. 60 and 50 centimeters. And they'd like to know how many litres of water will our aquarium need to be filled? Well, the easiest thing, if we know we're looking for litres of water, let's not work in centimetres. Much, much easier if we convert all of these lengths already to decimeters. Then we get our answer in litres. So let's say that the length is 16 decimeters, the breadth is 6 decimeters, and the height is 5 decimeters. Now we know that the volume is the length times the breadth times the height, which is 16 decimeters times 6 decimeters times 5 decimeters. Notice again, I keep my units all the way through. 6 5s are 30, so we get 16 decimeters times 30 decimeters squared. Reason I've done that is because it's much easier to multiply 16 by 30. So let's do it quickly in our heads. 6 3s are 18, carry 1. 3 1s are 3 plus 1, 4. But we had a 0 here, so we have to put a 0 back in our answer. 480 decimeters cubed, which is the same as 480 litres of water. Okay? If you're not familiar with doing like that, of course, don't worry. Just do your upstelling like that, where we're moving 1 step to the left. 6 3s are 18. 3 1s are 3 plus 1, 4. So you get the same answer if you do it like that or using my method. Right, then we have the next one, which is you've got 36 cubes. And you've built them in a rectangular block. So it has to be a complete rectangle. And each of the sides is 1 centimeter. 1 centimeter. So we have 36 1 centimeter cubed blocks. And what do we know about the perimeter? We know that the perimeter of the bottom area is 16 centimeters. The perimeter, which is 2 times length plus breadth, is 16 centimeters. That means that the length plus the breadth must be 16 divided by 2, which is 8 centimeters. So we're making a block, or a rectangular block. We don't know the height of it. But we do know that the length plus the breadth, L plus B, equals 8. And we don't know the height. So we have to think of, okay, what are the different ways we could get 8 from 2 different numbers adding together? Well, we could get 8 from 7 and 1. We could get it from 6 and 2. We could get it from 5 and 3. And we could get it from 4 and 4. If we were going to calculate the volume, we would have to take the length times the breadth times the height. So I'm going to convert all of these into a multiply sign now, because if this is the length and this is the breadth, what do we get then? If I multiply the length times the breadth, I get 7, 12, 15, and 16. Now I have to multiply these by a factor to get 36. If I multiply 7 by a whole number, am I going to get 36? No, it doesn't go. If I multiply 15 by a whole number, am I going to get 36? And I can get 30 and I can get 45, but I can't get 36. If I double 16, I'll get 32, but I'm not going to get 36. There's only one of these combinations that I can get as a factor of 36. If I times 12 by 3, I'll get 36. So the height must be 3 centimeters, 3 blocks high. Because that's the only one that will give me a factor of 36. Let's do a little check. So now I'm saying that my length is 6, my breadth is 2, and my height is 3. That should give me a volume. If each one of these has a volume of 1 centimeter cubed, 36 of them must have a volume of 36 centimeters cubed. Length times breadth times height. 6 times 2 is 12, times 3 is 36 centimeters cubed. So that's the only possibility for this one. So the height that you should have of your rectangular block should be 6 centimeters. 3 centimeters. Okay, so that was a bit tricky one. Quite a bit of problem-solving thought needed to go into solving that question. Then we have a piece of paper that's going to be folded together and turned into a cardboard box without a lid. And they've given you some dimensions here to help you. You know that the length of the side is 80, and you've got this one here is 50 and 40. We're carrying on because you don't have Russell coming today. So we have 50 and we have 40 here. So that's the sketch, and they want you to work out the surface area of the box and the volume. So the easiest thing is if we sketch this as a three-dimensional sketch. And we have to remember that we have no lid to it. Sorry. Okay, so here's our box then. We have a length of 80 and a width of 50 and a height of 40. So let's change it again into decimeters. So if we say that the length is 8 decimeters, the breadth is 5 decimeters, and the height is 4 decimeters. B equals and height equals. Right. Volume's fairly easy again, because the volume is just the length times the breadth times the height, which is 8 decimeters times 5 decimeters times 4 decimeters. 5 fours are 20, so we get 8 decimeters times 20 decimeters squared. 8 twos are 16, so we get 160 decimeters cubed as our volume. What about our surface area then? Well, the surface area is going to be, the base is only going to be one of them because there's no lid. So we get 8 decimeters times 5 decimeters as the bottom face. And then we're going to have 2 fronts, which are going to be 8 times 4. The front face is going to be 8 decimeters long and 4 decimeters high. And then 2 of the side faces, which are going to be 2 lots of 5 decimeters and 4 decimeters. Okay? So 8 5s are 40, plus 8 4s are 32, doubled, 64, plus 5 4s are 20, doubled, 40, and they're all going to be decimeters squared. So we get 104 plus 4, 144 decimeters squared is the surface area of this, because there is no lid. Okay, that's long enough for one movie, so we'll take a short